realised I was also pretty good at it. Impressed a lot of the management, and they basically said, look, there's an opportunity here for you as soon as you graduate. So that's what I did. I graduated, I joined the family. It wasn't really my intention, by the way, but I did actually use some of my skills in IT to further refine our trading platform, which is called Smart Charts. By the way, let me know, have you actually seen Smart Charts in action before? I don't know, maybe you've seen some of Greg's YouTube videos. He's very proud, by the way, to have well over 130,000 subscribers now on YouTube. He's even got the silver plaque from YouTube on his wall at home. But don't worry, if you haven't seen it, I'll show you live today how it works. But he calls me the lucky charm because we became the 49th fastest growing company in Great Britain, as ranked by the Sunday Times Fast Track 100. The award was sponsored by Virgin, so I got to meet Sir Richard Branson, which is quite nice. And spent a lot of time abroad. That's also my mother's favourite photo. Love showing people every opportunity because looking probably a lot younger than fitter than I am these days. I then spent a lot of time abroad. So a lot of my time is actually spent out in Australia, where I opened the company's trading floor in North Sydney. So in the Arthur Street area, that's where we have an office there. I then spent a lot of time, of course, in South Africa, which is, by the way, pretty much my second home. I've been to South Africa 74 times in the last 11 years. And that's where we opened the trading floor in Sandton. So it is my second home, by the way. So if any of you are familiar with Sandton, when you go down Rivonia Road, you take a left at the Robots where the Investec building is. On the left-hand side, you've got the entrance to the Investec car park. But you take a right at the other Robots, go to the Green Park Corner. That's where our office is in the Green Park Corner building. Used to be called the World Trade Center. That's where our office is there. I then spent a lot of time in the Philippines. We built a village for 100 families out in Iloilo, and decided there's an opportunity to invest in an emerging country as well. So open up operations there. So it's a bit of a snapshot as to what my last 14 years have looked like. It does feel like yesterday. Has been very eventful. Any questions you have for me, please feel free to fire away. But that is me, okay? Now, I always like to start off with a question, and I think the best question to begin with is why actually trade in the first place? Now, having spoken to some of my colleagues who are helping you logged in today, they mentioned to me that you guys are very excited about trading and the amount of money that can be made is very attractive, but what's that money for? What's that motivation behind why you want to trade in the first place? And we always like to set the aims to begin with. Now, because that determines how often you should be trading each week. So what I would like to do, please, is can you let me know in the questions box why you want to trade? What's that goal? What's that motivation for you? So once I take a sip of my water, I'll give all of you an opportunity to, by the way, there's all 161 of you, an opportunity to let me know why you want to trade, okay? Okay, let me read some of these out. So lifestyle, independence, financial security, retirement, be debt-free. I would like to have location independence. Zainab, yeah, fantastic. Do this anywhere in the world. Security, get my investments working for me better. I want to learn how to do this properly. James, I've tried to have a go on my own, and I realized the only way to do this is to get professional training. Yeah, I can appreciate that. Change lifestyle. Ola, I am running a successful business for many years, and I've had to shut it down because of COVID, and now looking for a way not to rely on the economy. I think COVID has taught people to really think out the box. Yeah, definitely. Jeremiah, I'm currently 80% down on my crypto portfolio, and now I'm looking for a way. Well, I'm now looking for something more stable. Yeah, I can appreciate that. Stephen, a lot of my friends are trading and making a lot of money, and now I want to learn how to do it as well. Yeah, Christine, I've already got a successful job, but I want to do something extra in my spare time to upgrade my house. Nice, I like that. Great goals there, very similar to each other, which without reading all of them individually, they all seem very similar to each other, which means you're all in the right place. So really focus on how the different things that I'll be speaking about really apply to what you just wrote down, makes it a really productive session for everyone here today, okay? Now, I always like to, let's get into some of the basics now, okay? Now, what actually is the currency market? Now, the currency market is the largest market in the world, okay? There are three types of market. You've got the stock market, that's where trade companies like Amazon, Apple, and Microsoft, okay? Any of you own Microsoft shares right now? Wow. You've got the commodity market, that's trade gold, oil, silver, wheat, corn. Then you've got the currency market. That's where we trade the euro, the Japanese yen, the Australian dollar, etc. The currency market is what makes the world go round. All of you are wearing clothes today that were probably made in a different country. Okay, at some point, if you had to be able to purchase them, there would have been a foreign currency transaction at some point. If you had a Starbucks this morning, or perhaps a Mug and Bean, okay, I miss a matcha green tea latte from Mug and Bean. Okay, as soon as I go back to South Africa, that's the first thing I'm going to get. If you had a coffee this morning, they import their coffee beans. So they rely on the currency market for the daily business activities. When you go traveling abroad, you pay for goods in the foreign currency. So the currency market is what makes the world go round, is what allows countries to do business with each other. Okay. Now, what are pips? Okay, this is really important. Let me explain. Now, a currency pair that I look at every day is the pound against the US dollar. Now, the current exchange rate for the pound against dollar is approximately 136. So what this means is that right now, £1 equals $1.36. Okay, so if I'm in America next week and I'm about to buy something, I know how much it costs in pounds. As a trader, we are more interested in the points, also known as the pips. So £1 equals $1.36. The next two figures, they're called the pips. Now, what happens is a currency will move up and down by lots of pips throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the year. Best way to think about it is like this. How many of you own a product that's either made by Apple or Samsung? Pretty much everyone, okay? Now, Apple's share price will go up and down in value throughout the year based on how well the company is performing. What kind of things could cause Apple's share price to go up in value? Yeah, exactly. Doing well as an organization, hitting targets, exceeding their growth, okay? The projections, in fact, every single time Apple released a new iPhone, its share price has gone up for 6 months, okay? The only time it's not happened is on 3 occasions, okay? What kind of things could cause Apple's share price to go down in value? The opposite, okay? Certain products not doing as well as expected, having difficulties expanding into China, okay? So Apple's share price will go up and down in value throughout the year based on how well the company is performing, okay? Now, a currency is basically the country's share price. So the pound will go up and down in value throughout the year based on how well the UK economy is doing. So when the UK economy is doing all right, pound will go up in value. When the UK economy is not doing so well, the pound will go down in value. Our job as a trader is to make those predictions, okay? Now, if we expected the pound to go from 136.00 up to, let's say, 136.25, how many pips has this gone up by? Let's see who's paying attention. Okay. Yeah, that's right, Tanmay. 25 pips, okay? As a trader, by the way, please write this down. We are basically pip collectors, okay? We're looking to enter and exit the market throughout the week to collect some pips. The more pips we collect, the more money we make, okay? Now, each one of those pips will be worth a certain amount of money to you, depending on how much money you're trading with at that time. So a good time to ask this question, okay, is how much are you looking to trade with in the trading account? Shashir, this is only recorded for compliance purposes, okay? So each one of those pips will be worth a certain amount of money based on how much money you're trading with at that time. So a good time to ask the question, how much are you looking to put into a trading account in order to trade with? So in order to, by the way, I'll give you all a moment to type in. Let me know, to keep it simple, either use rands or US dollars, okay? So just to keep it simple for me. When you're typing in currencies, either refer to rands or dollars, okay? Now, in order to trade, by the way, whilst I give you all an opportunity to do that, in order to trade, you open a trading account, which is quite easy, you normally need a form of ID and a utility bill that was dated within the last few months. You open the trading account, you deposit some money in there that you're looking to trade with, okay? So let me read some of these out, okay? To start off with, $5,000, okay, 20,000 Rand, $10,000, 200,000 Rand, $1,000, 700,000 Rand, 20,000 US dollars, $5,000, $10,000, 5,000 Rand, and then add 5,000 Rand a month. Yeah, you can always do that, by the way. You can always add more as you go along, okay? 1.2 million Rand, 100,000 US dollars, Mansoor, 10,000 Rand, 60,000 Rand, 15,000 US dollars, 1.8 million rand, a million rand, $500,000, $7,000, $1,000 to begin with, $10,000, 2 million rand, 900,000 rand. Yeah, okay. David has come in with $1 billion. Okay, nice one, David. Okay, great numbers from what I can see here. Quite typical, apart from what David's put. Okay, very normal numbers to what I normally see, which is good to see. Okay, now if you are trading at an average trade size of, let's say, 100 rand per pip, and you collected 25 pips out the market, that would equate to you making 2,500 rand out of that one single trade. Okay. Now, however many times you do that throughout the week, it will be based on what your targets, your goals, and what your aspirations are. Okay. Now, speaking of targets, how do you create one? Okay. By the way, how many of you would actually like to have some help in creating a target? Okay. I appreciate all of you have very different goals. Some of you who are only starting off with $1,000 will be doing very different things to people who are starting off with $50,000. Okay, we're going to help you all individually. But let me give you a basic framework. A lot of people target some set number of pips a week. I guess a good beginner's target is to collect about 100 pips a week. Now, if you collect 100 pips a week at a trade size of, let's say, 100 rand per pip, that would equate to you making 10,000 rand a week, which is 40,000 rand a month. Okay, and of course, this will be different for all of you depending on the amounts that you're trading with and your skill set levels. Okay, now if you 10,000 rand a week, 40,000 rand a month. Now, if we want to break that 100 pips a week target down Monday through to Friday, how many pips are we looking to collect per day? 20. 20 a day is your 100 pips for the week. And the question you probably have for me is, did I collect 100 pips this week? Now, did any of you look at the currency market today, by the way? Okay, quite an exciting day. Although, to be fair, every single day has been quite exciting for the last year and a half. We've got the pound against dollar, euro dollar, dollar yen, dollar Swiss franc. These are the four biggest currency pairs. We trade lots of others too. And these were the highs and lows. So if you look at the pound, that moved 40 odd pips. Euro dollar moved 40 pips, the yen, that moved 30 odd pips, and the Swiss franc, that moved 30 pips. So what we have here in total is you're basically looking at, almost 150 pips movement. Now, if you think about it, with 150 odd pips of movement there, do you think there's 20 pips to be had from that? Yes or no? Yes, absolutely. What we're not trying to do is we're not trying to get in right at the bottom and trying to get right at the top and bank exactly 42 pips, okay? Because that's never going to happen. But that's what most amateurs try. As professionals, we're looking to grab small bites out of the market and do that every single day. So trading successfully is a lot more about having discipline than it is being too greedy, okay? You're never going to make all your money on one Wednesday afternoon. We use about the market moves every single day, and we use every day as an opportunity to work towards that target, okay? That's how we do it. Now, how do we forecast the markets? How do we know what's going to happen next? Now, there's two pieces of information that I use in order to create a trading prediction, okay? In fact, please let me know how many of you are complete beginners and how many of you have done some trading before. Please let me know, because over the last 17 years, Learn to Trade has taught over 500,000 people around the world. So very proud to be the largest and the oldest trader coaching company. What we found is if you're a complete beginner, it is the best place to start because there's no bad habits, there's no incorrect information to unlearn. It's always nice to start completely fresh, okay? So if you're a beginner, you're going to find things much easier, okay? If you have done some trading before, do not worry. I feel your pain. By the way, trading, you cannot self-teach. You can't teach yourself how to trade. It's not intuitive like riding a bike. The more you ride a bike, the better you get. When it comes to trading, it doesn't matter how long you try and do it, you're never going to get better if you don't know certain things, okay? So, for example, you can't walk into hospital with a scalpel and think, right, if I cut that person open a couple of times, hopefully I get better. No, because if you cut the wrong thing, that person will die, okay? Let me know if you've experienced this. You've had lots of little winners, and you've had one loss that's wiped out all your gains. Or you've had some really good months, but some really average months, and you're back to square one like a year later. We've had all the emotions and the uncertainty. If you've experienced any of those things, don't worry. Whether you have traded before or you're a complete beginner, today's going to be amazing for you. Now, there's two pieces of information that I use in order to create a trading prediction. One of those is called technical analysis, which covers a lot of very important things that we consider. This is where we look at the charts, we look at trends, we look at price action, I look at the behavior between the buyers and sellers in the market. I use a lot of mathematical algorithms and formulas, okay, all that sort of stuff. And I also look at what we call fundamental analysis. And this is where we look at what's happening around the world. So one thing we do is look at what's happening in every country every single day. We look at government policies. We look at all the stats, GDP figures, unemployment data, interest rate announcements, inflation reports, speeches that get made, okay? All that sort of stuff. So fundamental analysis involves looking at what's happening inside every country. Technical analysis, that's all the numbers and charts. Now, by combining as much of this information together as we can use that with a fair degree of certainty as to which way we expect the market's going to go next, okay? And that's how we do it. Now, obviously, one person cannot do all this stuff on their own. There's actually a few teams involved. It starts off with the researchers, okay? Their job is to collect information. They're pretty much in the office first thing in the morning. They're normally the last ones to go home. Look at all the charts, figures, news. They pass on whatever's important to the analysts, who will then analyze that information. So, for example, what does it mean that the Chinese economy is underperforming at the moment? What does it mean that the UK now knows what Brexit means? What does it mean that President Biden is printing US dollars like it's going out of fashion? How is that information going to affect the value of the pound against the dollar today, tomorrow, next week? So our analysts look at all that information, create trade ideas. And those ideas are when's a good time to buy, when's a good time to sell, then get passed on to you and I as the traders. So later on today on my dashboard, I might see several ideas where I can buy the pound or short the euro, do this or do that. And my job is out of those ideas, which 2 or 3 do I choose? So what that means is you don't have to be an economist to trade, but you do need to learn the strategies, okay? Which is what I am going to teach you. And that really satisfies the 2 types of people that do our training, okay? Let me know whether you fall into the first category or the second category, okay? So the first category of people I meet, they love knowing how the stuff that works. They really find it fascinating how the fears of rising inflation have an impact on the central bank's decision to increase rates and therefore affect the balance sheet of a company, therefore its stock valuation. They love knowing that stuff. I also have a lot of clients in the second group who do not care. They say, Gerdas, I don't care about economics. I couldn't give a stuff about politics. Just saying when's a good time to buy, when's a good time to sell, so I can do this every single day alongside my day job so I can build an extra income for myself. Let me know whether you fall into the first or the second category, because regardless of which one you're in, you're going to know exactly what to do, okay? Now, what does going long or short mean, okay? Good. Now, there is one currency pair that is my favorite trade. What do you think my favorite currency pair is? Not the pound dollar. Not the euro dollar. Not the dollar yen. No, not euro dollar. No, not the Swiss franc. Okay. Let me tell you. My favorite currency pair to trade is the pound against a South African rand, okay? It is my favorite currency pair to trade. I absolutely love the pound against the rand. Now, it's quite interesting what's happened over the years. Now, if we go back to 2010, that was the first time I went to South Africa to set up the company's office in Sandton. Now, do you know how many rands to the pound there were back in 2010? Okay. Tease, I'm going to... If I don't answer your question, I'll answer it later on. Don't worry about that, okay? There was 10 rand to the pound, okay? I remember that because when I went to the shopping malls, I divide everything by 10, and that's how much I knew things cost, okay? Now, it was fantastic, okay? Now, what happened after that was quite interesting because every single year, the pound skyrocketed, okay? 2011, 2012, 2013, 2016. It went to 25 rand to the pound. It shot up every single year, okay? It was a fantastic time for us as traders. Every single time Zuma made a speech, the rand just kept dropping, okay? So what we used to do is we used to have Jacob Zuma on one screen, we'd have the pound rand on the other. And every single time he spoke, we just kept trading the rand. Okay, it's absolutely fantastic. Now, what's happening here, of course, was the pound was going up in value. Now, if the pound's going up in value, what's happening to the South African rand? That means the rand is weakening. Okay, so the pound's going up, that means the rand is falling. Now, if we expected this to happen over the next couple of hours or days or weeks, what we do in this scenario is we buy the pound against the rand, which is what we call trading long. Okay, a very important word for you to write down in your notes is that long means up. So just to use the terminology, if we expected the pound to go up tomorrow, what we say is going to go long for example, 40 pips. Okay, so if every pip goes up, okay, you'll make, for example, 100 rand per pip. Okay, what's in my hand? It's a clicker. So I can move back and forward with my slideshow. Okay. Now, is the pound always just going to go up forever? No, because what goes up must eventually come back down. And what happened what's happened since 2016 is been coming back down. Okay, it's around about 20 at the moment. Okay, now when that is happening, that's a fantastic opportunity because that is where the pound was weakening. Now, if the pound is falling in value, what's happening to the rand? That means the rand is going up. And if we expected that to happen, which one do we buy instead? We buy the South African rand and we sell the pound. We do the opposite. So by selling the pound and buying the rand, that is all called trading short. Another very important word for you to write down in your notes is that shorting means down. So if we're in the downtrend, we can short it for 40 pips instead. So as a trader, we can and do trade in both directions. Okay. Now, is it useful to be able to trade both ways? Yes or no? Yes, very useful, okay? Because that means our income is recession-proof. It doesn't matter what happens out there in the economy because our income is unaffected, which I think is very useful for a lot of people in South Africa right now, okay? A lot of people around the world right now. In fact, let me ask you a question. How is the South African economy doing at the moment? Terrible, okay? It has one of the highest or the highest unemployment rate in the world. Okay, is not great at all. And a lot of people are getting frustrated. Where is the economy heading? What's going to happen now? We've got this new president. Okay, how is this pandemic going to have a long-lasting impact on my livelihood, my job security, my future prospects, my retirement? A lot of people are getting very concerned, especially because the rest of the world is not giving people a lot of confidence either. If we look at the UK economy, that's in a big mess. Okay, people are nervous about rising inflation in the US. Oil prices are very volatile, affecting every oil-producing country in the world. So right now, the global economy is in quite a big mess. And that's why people are looking to take the security into their own hands. Because ultimately, who is the only person that can control your future in the first place? It's yourself. And that's why people have a backup plan, a safety net. People have at least one income stream that is not tied to the economy. Because one thing people do not want to do is leave the entire future in the hands of their boss. And they don't want to rely on the government either, okay? People want to have that control themselves. And that's why people come to us, because it's nice to not have to worry about whatever happens out there. Because if we did go into a global recession, and by the way, do you think there could be a global recession? Yeah, it's kind of already started, okay? We'd actually have more opportunities anyway. We'd have more opportunities. We have a saying that markets tend to go up by the stairs, but they jump out the window. So markets fall 3 times faster than they rise. And that's the reason why during a recession, we make 3 times more income. It's the reason why during the Brexit night in 2016, the pound fell 2,000 pips in one evening. How many of you remember seeing that? Yeah? Were you trading it? Okay, you could have. Okay, this is not reserved for just a few thousand traders in those tall buildings in Wall Street and Santon. I think teenagers on the Reddit forums have proved that not to be the case. You can do this too. And the most important thing is you can do this, okay? But are we taught this at school? No. And what are we taught at school? Get a job. Maybe one day try and be a bit entrepreneurial. Okay, start a business. Okay, those things are great when the economy is doing well. But what about when the economy is not doing well? What are we taught to do then? Yes, hope and wait. Okay, and that doesn't work. Let me ask you a question. How long do you think it would take for the South African economy to get back to where it needs to be? So whilst I take a sip of my water, I'll give all 172 of you an opportunity to type in an answer there. So the question is, how long do you think it would take for the South African economy to get back to where it needs to be? Okay, a lot of you are thinking along the same lines as me. Although I will read out Paul's comment, okay? I think it's Paul. Yeah, Paul has put 3 months, okay? How many of you agree with Paul that it's going to take 3 months for South Africa to sort itself out? Paul, if everyone in South Africa had the same level of optimism that you have, probably could do it in a few months. But realistically, you're looking at least 10 years, okay? 20 years, perhaps, okay? Now, how many of you can wait 20 years? Yeah, of course not. But you don't need to, because actually right now is an amazing place to be. Right now is such a great time to be alive. And it's important to understand why. But youngsters, they're not taught how the world works. And that's why at a time like this, it's only the rich that are getting richer, whilst everyone else is staying the same, if not getting worse off. What is it that these people know about this time period that these people don't? Okay, let me explain. Okay, when it rains outside, okay, is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? It's a good thing, okay? Rain is an essential part of the environmental cycle, okay? When it rains outside, we know everything's working properly. If you're a farmer, you need it to rain, okay? When a market crashes, is that good or bad? It's great, okay? A crash is an essential part of the economic cycle, okay? It's very natural and very normal process, okay? No market just goes up forever in a straight line. Markets go up for a while and they plummet. They go for another 5-10 years, they plummet again. In economics, they're not called crashes, they're called corrections. It's like the market is resetting itself. When you reset your phone or reset your laptop, it runs more efficiently. And when we're in that time period, we're so lucky to be in that time period because that's where all the growth opportunities are. And that's why we're so lucky to be where we are right now, because people always feel like they miss out on times like this, okay? If you go back 20 years ago, for those of you who remember when the dot-com crash happened, people said, God, I wish I was trading back then, okay? I really missed out. The same thing happened in 2008 when the credit crunch happened. People said, I wish I was trading back then. I missed out on that as well. So when do you think is the best time for you to start trading? Now. Because what kind of things do we have coming up next? Yes, a huge, massive crash driven by everything you already know about. COVID, Brexit, a new US president who is absolutely not wasting any time when it comes to printing currency. He's printing more US dollars than any other president in US history. We're loving that, by the way. He can do that as much as he wants because it's awesome for us as traders. A US and Chinese trade war, which is going to absolutely explode. A stock market correction worldwide. You have a look at the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ right now, and you tell me whether you think it's undervalued or overvalued at the moment, okay? It's not going to be a surprise that we're going to see stock markets crash, especially as interest rates are going to go up. So all those things are contributing towards so many exciting opportunities, and that's why, without you even knowing, you're choosing a fantastic time to start, which also forms the basis of this project that I'm running. Now, as I mentioned, I'm actually going to take a group of you from this webinar today to take part in a very exciting project, which we are calling the South Africa Lifestyle Trader Challenge for 2021, okay? If you're outside of South Africa, by the way, you can still take part. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a group of you from this webinar, and we want to document how long it would take to get your skill set from where it is right now and get it towards where you want it to be. Okay, we're going to document that journey and have a bit of fun with it as well. Now, you are going to have access to all the resources. You will have smart charts as well, and also you're going to be assigned one of my traders to be your one-to-one personal trading mentor, okay? And we're going to document your journey. Now, how many of you would actually like to take part in that project? Okay, all of a sudden, it looks like everyone's woken up, okay? I don't think I've seen a better response to a question I've asked so far, okay? Wow, that's a lot of you, okay? Now, there are, however, some requirements involved that you do need to stick to be part of that project. Because you might imagine there are some things I'm looking for from you in return to take part. So I'm looking for someone that's very motivated, someone that's very driven, someone that knows that, you know what, by the end of this year, I really want to be in a certain position financially. So I am looking for the right kind of personalities as opposed to someone that just wants to have a little dabble here or there. Okay. I'm not looking for lazy people. I'm looking for action takers. Does that make sense? Okay. So it certainly will open up the doors to pretty much most of you in this webinar today. And the reason why I say that is because just to be transparent with you, the kind of clientele that normally take part in our training, they usually are, very wealthy people that have plenty of money to throw into a trading account and to throw at their education. Okay. And that's why trading is normally seen as an activity that's reserved for the wealthy and the fortunate. Okay. And that connotation has been around for decades. However, for the purposes of what I'm doing here today, I am going to be completely lowering that barrier of entry so you can start immediately. Okay. And I will be explaining to you later on exactly how I'm going to do that. Okay. But it will certainly open up doors to most of you in this room today. Certainly, you do not need to be a wealthy person to take part in what I'm going to be talking about today. Put it this way, if you consider yourself to be of average, normal financial means in the country that you're in, this is going to be an easy opportunity. And it's so exciting because the more doom and gloom it is out there in the economy, the more opportunity it creates for a trader to make money. So the more challenging things are, the more opportunity it creates. Now, speaking of challenges, if you look at what's happening around the world right now, do you think the challenges are over? And how many of you think the worst is still to come? Oh yeah, the worst is still to come. Nothing's happened yet in the economy. A lot of people think, by the way, you think 34% unemployment's bad? You have not seen anything yet. I promise you that, okay? A lot of people thought last year was bad because of COVID, but actually the government gave a lot of support. It's what's going to happen next that's going to be the big thing, okay? Because here's a question. Do you think that government support is going to last forever? No, it's not. Okay. Do you think the government is going to want to ask for that money back? Yes, they are. And who do you think is going to have to pay for that money? Yeah, it's the average person. It's the average person that's going to get suffered the most. Okay. So there's going to be so many exciting opportunities happening over the next 12 months, and it's up to you to get involved. Okay. And the great thing is, it's so exciting because no longer are you just going to be the sidelines watching everyone else do well. You're going to be involved, knowing exactly what to do. So I'm so excited for you that you are choosing to start your journey today, because we're going to document how long it takes to get your skill set from where it is right now to where you want it to be as part of this UK South Africa Lifestyle Trader Challenge. I'll tell you a little bit more about this later on. Okay. Now, how do we read the charts? Okay, good. Now, the currency market, by the way, is a very simple market to understand because there's only two things that cause the currency to move. And those two things are fear and greed. Okay. By the way, take a moment to appreciate my choice of imagery here. I was quite proud of myself when I came up with this slide. Okay. Let me know if you're liking my humor and choice of images. Okay. Now, really simple. When a country is doing very well, people and governments, they love investing into those countries. Okay. As a result, the currency goes up in value. When a country is not doing very well, investors leave, assets get sold off, and the currency devalues. Okay, it's all called economic sentiment. Okay, how confident does the global economy feel about investing in that country right now? And that's why analysts are all over it every single day. They look at the charts, the news, politics, look at all that information and create trade ideas. For example, one of the things that we analyze is the charts. However, we do not look at line graphs. Okay, we look at these funny looking bars, which are called OHLC bars. That stands for open, high, low, close. Okay, candlesticks pretty much look the same. You can use either or. Now, let's say this is the daily chart for the euro dollar. It's showing us that the euro dollar has gone up on Monday, hence why it's green. It's gone down Tuesday, hence why it's red. Now, how do we use this information to help us to predict what's going to happen next? Okay, let me explain. Now, let's say you see the euro dollar go up tomorrow. Okay, now or go up on next Monday. Now, if you saw that happen, you might think, That's interesting. The euro's dollar's gone up. You might see it go up on Tuesday. You might see it go up on Wednesday. Now, when a lot of people start seeing this thing happen, a lot of people start thinking, right, the euro's going up. That must mean people are buying it. Now, if everyone else is buying a euro, maybe I should too. And that's where the herd psychology begins. And most people look for that social proof to enter most trades. Okay, if my friends are buying shares in Amazon, maybe I should too. Okay, and if the price goes up again on Thursday, it just reinforces their thoughts. They start thinking, you know what? I had a feeling inside me it was going to go up, and it has done, so I might as well get in. And that's why when most amateurs do get in, they always seem to get in when it's always too late. Okay, and we certainly will not do that in this example. Okay, and the reason why is because of what the chart is telling us. Now, do you notice how that fourth bar is a different shape to the first three? Yes, different shapes mean different things. Okay, so what's happening on Thursday is the price opened there in the morning, it's come down and hit a low, gradually it's gone up, hit a high point. However, did the price close anywhere near the top of the bar by the end of the day? No, it's closed in the bottom half, almost where it started. So what has happened on Thursday that did not happen on the first 3 days? It's come back down. It's come back down. Look, on Monday, the bars pushed price up and it stayed up. Hence why the bars won. Tuesday, the bars pushed price up and it stayed up. The bars won again. Wednesday, the bars pushed price up and it stayed up. The bars won again. On Tuesday, the bars pushed price up. However, by the end of the day, the sellers brought it all the way back down. So the sellers won. So on Thursday, the price was mainly driven by the sellers who were pushing price back down by the end of the day, despite it being a green bar. So which way do you think the price is going to go on Friday? Yeah, it's going to go down, and the chart could look like this. Now, do you think it's useful to know when that is about to happen? Yes or no? Yes, that's the whole point. Had you been in this trade on Tuesday morning, again, by the way, you're going to receive the same trade alerts that I receive every single day. So the same dashboard I have, you're going to have the same as well. So let's see we had a buy signal on Tuesday morning because of good news came out. Now on Thursday, our analysts would have noticed that big change in direction, as would have you now, and that will highlight itself as a good idea to get out and to sell. So rather than target the original 140 pips we were going to target, what we do here instead is we close it early, bank the 70 pips we made so far, rather than wait a couple of days later there at a loss. And that's how you can use our strategies to start banking these pips. Now, let's say you banked 70 pips at 100 Rand a pip. Okay, that's still 7,000 Rand. You do that twice a week, that's 60,000 Rand a month. And the most important thing is, you can do this. Hopefully, the way I've started to explain this, you're out there thinking, do you know what? That starts to make a lot of sense. There's absolutely no reason why you cannot learn this too. And the certain sayings we have, one of my favourite sayings is we always treat what we see, not how we think or how we feel. Because does the market care how we think or feel? Now, you might feel like it's going to be really sunny tomorrow, okay? But if the clouds are quite dark and they quote low down later on this evening, chances are it's probably going to rain again. It's what we call forecasting, and you will learn to forecast the market using the same strategies that I use every single day. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, different shapes mean different things, and what that shape there on Thursday means, it means large banks have entered the market because the banks are the only people who are big enough to change the direction of a currency in a short space of time. It takes a lot to move the currency market because it's so big. Think about it. People and companies are transferring $5 trillion to each other around the world every single day. That's a lot of money. The only people who are big enough to move that in large chunks are the big banks. So when we see this has happened, we now know the large banks have made some very large transactions in a very short space of time. And that's very useful information for us, and it forms the basis of the first strategy that Greg taught me. So when the price is gradually, for example, falling, and it's falling, then it reverses, goes all back up to where it started. That's not random, okay, that's the banks getting in. This is what we call a T-wave buying pattern. It's called a T-wave buying pattern. Very useful to write that down. Now, this is an example of one pattern, okay? There are, please write this down, 10 different patterns that I look at, okay? Now, those patterns are all very different. Different shapes, sizes, colors, Some are easy to find, some are complex to find. They all represent very different opportunities in the market. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think it'd be quite useful if there's a piece of software that would scan through the markets and find these particular patterns of interest and highlight them on the screen? Do you think that'd be quite helpful? Okay, good. Keep that thought in the back of your mind, okay? Now, let's talk about the T-Wave. Now, for those of you who I am taking on as part of this Lifestyle Trader Challenge, this is one strategy that I'm going to get you to absolutely nail, okay? Now, just to let you know, there are quite a few steps for this strategy, and it does take about 2.5 hours to actually teach it, okay? So obviously, I don't have enough time today to actually teach this entire strategy, but when you actually do the training with us, we're going to go through everything in a lot of detail. Now, I know some of you will be doing the training next week, and some of you will be doing the training in a couple of weeks' time. But what I'll do later on is I'll show you the dates. You can pick one, and then that's where we'll go through everything, okay? Now, basically what happens is markets breathe. They breathe out, they breathe in. They breathe out, they breathe in, and so forth, okay? This is what we call an uptrend. Now, when we are in an uptrend, we are looking for buying opportunities, okay? We're going to be trading with the banks, not against them, okay? Just trade with the smart money. Now, seeing as that we're looking for buying opportunities, when do you think would be the best time to enter the trend? Would it be position number 1 or would it be position number 2? So we're looking for buying opportunities. Yeah, obviously position number 1, okay? Now, ideally, we love to get in at number 1 and then get out the top at number 2. We love to get back in at number 1 and get out the top at number 2. We love to re-enter at the turning point at number 1 and get out the top at number 2. However, how many of you think that that is a realistic thing to try and achieve? Yeah, obviously not, okay? But what we can do with the T-Wave is we can get in at number 1 and then get out and grab a little 30 pips out of the market. We can get in, get out, grab a little bite out of the market. We can get in at number 1, get out and grab a little 40 pips, okay? That's what we can do, okay? Now, how many of you are okay with just taking regular small bites out of the market day in, day out? How many of you are okay with that? Okay, good. How many of you wouldn't feel too disappointed that you never got to get out right at the top? Okay, good. That shows me that I'm speaking to very rational people. The sooner you realize that you're never going to get out at the top, the sooner you can do this properly. Don't try and chase something that you're never going to get, okay? We want to get number 1. When do you think most amateurs get in, by the way? At number 2. Why do amateurs always get in at the top? It's because they're self-educated, they don't know what they're doing, and they're taking too long to make a decision, okay? They sit there watching it move first. They want to see it move and start thinking, right, okay, do you know what? Let me just make sure it is going up. So they watch it a little bit longer. So they keep watching, they keep watching, they keep watching. And when they see it go up even more, they start thinking, right, do you know what? Yeah, it looks like it's going up. I think I'll get in now. They're getting about 3/4 of the way to the top. A few days later, oh shit, I've lost, okay? And they'll repeat that like a million times, okay? As a professional, we want to get to number 1. Now, my favorite time of the day to trade this strategy is between the hours of 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the morning UK time, okay? That is my favorite time of the day to trade. So I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning. I do my meditation. I get myself sorted for 6 o'clock in the morning. In South Africa, that would of course be 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock in the morning, okay? Now, how many of you are available at that time of the day? Okay, that's a lot of you. Okay, good, we can do it together. Why do you think, by the way, traders love trading first thing in the morning? Yeah, early bird catches the worm. We're alert, we're focused. It's a nice time to be productive. How many of you like the idea of being done and dusted by 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning and have the rest of the day to yourself? Yeah, not a bad way to organize your day, okay? It's a good way to be productive. You can trade in the morning, go back to your day job. Trade in the morning, carry on with the business activities, whatever you do. It's a good time to trade. I absolutely love it. We can do it together. Now, how many of you are not available at that time? Okay, so for those of you who are not available, okay, there are, please write this down, 5 other times of the day that is good to trade. Now, they are quite specific times of the day, Okay, they are very specific, and there's quite a few things we need to elaborate about those timings, but we'll do that on the training itself. Okay, don't worry, we'll do that with all of you individually when we do speak one-to-one. Okay, now what we are looking for at certain times of the day are certain shapes. Now here's the good news: you do not have to find these shapes yourself. Smart charts will do it for us. Okay, I'm going to show it to you later on. It's very, very impressive. Okay, we're going to teach you. Please write this down. Where to put your entry point. Okay, so where to enter the market is key. We're going to teach that to you. We're also going to teach you where to put your stop loss. A stop loss is like an automatic safety net in case it goes the other way. It's like an automatic cutoff point. Okay, now here's the thing: the stop loss should never be too close to the entry, should never be too far away either. Okay, that's a mistake that amateurs make. How many pips you should be will be based on the currency of pay you're trading, and we're going to go into that in a lot of detail. And another thing that you're going to learn is where to put your take profit level. That's where we're going to exit the trade and bank the profit we've made. So at a certain time of the day, there's certain shapes that occur. We're going to teach you where to enter. We're going to teach you where to put your stop loss. We're also going to teach you where to put your target. Okay. Now, how many of you, by the way, are actually finding this quite interesting? How many of you find this quite fascinating? It's really interesting, isn't it? Okay. And also, please let me know, has anyone actually shown you how to trade like this before? No, never been shown? Well, look, that's great. I'm glad you're here, because the only way you're actually going to learn this is live with someone showing you what to do, because a book is not going to do that, and neither is YouTube. Okay. To be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of videos, because when you watch a video, it's already happened. You can't ask a video questions. When you read a book, it is just theory. The only way you're actually going to learn this is when you have someone holding your hand, showing you what to actually do in live market conditions. And that's why we're actually going to do this with you. Because once we set a trade up, we can close the laptop, carry on with the rest of the day. Because once the price hits the target, it will automatically close and your profit gets banked. So the target is automated, as is the stop loss. Okay. So once we set a trade up, we can continue and take advantage of that movement. Next day, set your alarm, go through the processes, pick the trade out, bank a little 20 pips at the market. Next day, again, follow your routine. Go through the steps. If they tick all the boxes, we go for the trade, bank a little chunk out the market. Next day, again, same thing. And the reason why the strategy works so well is because what happens is when the banks enter and exit and re-enter and exit and re-enter and exit, it causes this kind of zigzag pattern to emerge on the screen. And the reason why we see these patterns is because a chart is quite simple. A chart is just a visual representation of human behavior. And there's only two humans here, and there's buyers and sellers. Now, people in very large numbers become predictable. And because human behavior is predictable, the markets become predictable. And that's why the strategy works so well. Okay. Now, I'm going to play you a video of me using this strategy, using some very old-fashioned software. Don't worry, I don't use software like this anymore. Okay. But let me show it to you. I'm trading a pound against the US dollar. The trade target is approximately 22 pips of profit. The trade size is approximately £45 per pip. So what this means is for every pip it goes up, £45 you made, hence why the targets make £1,000. Now, to put in perspective, if you were doing this trade right now at 100 rand a pip, you would make 2,200 rand in this same example. So have a watch, make some notes, and I will continue. So I'm trading a pound against US dollar using the T-wave strategy. Have a little watch.
So in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how you can identify and place an income wave style trade at 2% risk using a traditional trading platform. Firstly, we need to search through the list of currencies on the left-hand side here, one by one, until we eventually find a trading opportunity on the chart. This could take around 15 to 20 minutes. But to save time here, I've already gone through the list and found some great income wave setup on pound versus dollar. We want our buy entry at the top of this bar and the stop loss at the bottom. So first, we need to know the values of the high and low of this bar here. To get this information, we simply hover our cursor over it, and you can now see the information I need highlighted at the bottom of the screen. The high of the bar is 1.32125, and the low of the bar is 1.31905. So our buy entry level is going to be the same as the high, and our stop loss level is going to be the same as the low. We only count to 4 decimal places on dollar-based pairs, so we can see there is 22 pips between the buy entry and the stop loss. We're going to make this a 1-to-1, therefore our take profit will need to be 22 pips above the buy entry, so add 22 pips to 1.32125 and you get 1.32345. Okay, so we've got our buy entry, take profit and stop loss levels. We now need to work out our risk size for the trade. The risk management calculation is 2% of our account divided by the number of pips at risk. 2% of the £50,000 account size is going to be £1,000 of risk on the trade. However, you can't just put in £1,000 risk into the software. We must enter the number of pounds we want to risk per pip. To work this out, we divide £1,000 by 22 pips. 1,000 divided by 22 pips. That's going to be £45 and 45 pence per pip. Okay, so now we've got our buy entry, stop loss, take profit level, and our risk, which is £45 and 45 pence per pip. Now we're going to go to trading, choose new order. We're going to copy the information on the left into the order ticket. First, it's a pending order. Now, the broker needs volume or risk size amounts to the nearest 10p. So instead of 45.45, I need to round it down to 45.40 here. I'll quickly input the buy entry in here, and then my stop loss and take profit in here. It's an income wave trading opportunity. I can now go ahead and click on the place order button, and the order has been placed. It's been successful. Here is the buy entry. Here is the stop loss, and here is the take profit. As you can see, the price eventually moved in our favour and this trade was a winner. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this demonstration interesting.
Okay, it's a nice little trade to show you there. Now, was that nice and easy to follow, by the way? Yeah, that was quite a few steps. That was only a lot of numbers, and there's only a few of the steps, which is why, by the way, we do it with you. Which also suits most people's learning styles. Some people are visual learners, some people are auditory learners, and you've got others who are kinesthetic learners. They're the ones who need to be shown how to do it. That's me, for example. Once you sit next to me and you show me step by step what to do, I can do it every single day. How many of you are the same, by the way? Yeah, especially when it comes to practical stuff. Okay, that's how you get better. It's like when you watch those cooking shows. Are any of you big fans of Gordon Ramsay, by the way? Oh, he's awesome, isn't he? Have you seen that MasterChef where he cuts that salmon into perfect pieces? Oh, you need to watch it because it makes it look so easy. But when you try it yourself, it's completely F it up, okay? Now imagine being in the kitchen with Gordon Ramsay and he's showing you how to hold the knife in a way where actually so you can feel where the bone is through the blade. So you keep the skin taut with the other hand, nice even cut. It's going to be 9, 10, 11 times, tweaking each time you do it. By the time you've done it the 11th time, do you think you'll be much better than the first time? Yes, we'll call practice, okay? And that's why we trade with you. That's why from today, you are going to be assigned one of my traders to be your one-to-one mentor, okay? So we're going to do it together, which is really going to help, okay? Now, as I mentioned, it would be quite useful if there was a piece of software that would actually scan through the markets and find opportunities for us. Now, check this out. Smart Charts has a PRT, which stands for Pattern Recognition Tool. So we have basically programmed Smart Charts to find certain patterns, and when it does, highlight them straight away on the screen. Okay, how cool is that? Let me show you. Here is the euro against the US dollar. What you look right now is a completely blank chart. No visual aids turned on. It's just going up and down, okay? Where'd you get in, where'd you get out? It's pretty much guesswork. Now, obviously, in hindsight, you could figure that out, where to get in, when to get out. However, we don't want to trade in hindsight, do we? We want to trade before the moves happened. So have a look at this. If I turn the visual aid on, can you now see these blue arrows pop up on the screen? Yeah, okay. Check out that first blue arrow. Look at the bar immediately to the left of it. Now, does that look like a familiar shape that we were just talking about? Yes, it does. Have a look at that second blue arrow. Look at the bar just left of it. Does that look a familiar shape? Yes. Have a look at that third blue arrow. Look at the bar just left of it. Does that look a familiar shape? Yes, it does. So smart charts will actually find them for us and highlight them on the screen. How cool is that? And also you notice a blue, a red and a green dot. What do you think those dots mean? Well, the blue dot shows you where you put your entry point. The red dot shows you where you can put your stop loss, and the green dot shows you where you can put your target. And they are different for every single trade. And the reason why the distances are different is because Smart Charts has an algorithm built into it that will use recent volatility to adjust the target and stop loss to be the most efficient place. Okay, so let me repeat that again. Smart Charts has a built-in algorithm that will use recent volatility to adjust the target and the stop loss to be in the most efficient and effective place. If you have not done any trading whatsoever, and what I said didn't make any sense, don't worry, it's a good thing. For those of you who have done some trading before, please let me know in the questions box how much better your trading would have been. Okay, so yeah, this is fantastic. Have a look at, here's another one. CAD against the Japanese yen. Blank chart looks very confusing. With the visual aid turned on, so much easier. Here's the pound against the Japanese yen. Here's what a blank chart looks like. It's just going up and down, up and down. With the visual aids turned on, we know exactly what to look for, okay? Which is absolutely fantastic. Now, by the way, do you prefer it with the visual aid turned off, or do you prefer it with the visual aid turned on? Obviously, so much easier with it turned on. And also, you notice some downwards pointing arrows. What do you think the downwards pointing arrows mean? It means we have the opposite, okay? It means we have the opposite opportunity, okay? And by the way, this is going to save you hours in your day, because how many of you have 23 hours a day to stare at charts trying to find these shapes? No, of course you don't, okay? And I know there's bound to be a clever clogs out there that's going to say, actually, Gerdas, I have all day to look at charts. Well, guess what? By the time you've actually found something, the market's already moved, so you're too late to the party anyway. So don't waste time doing things that technology does quicker. Let's focus our precious time doing the important things, and that's making the decisions, okay? It makes life a lot easier, okay? And also, by the way, there is some things I'm going to ask for some of you. Now, how many of you would be prepared to volunteer to take some screenshots of the trades that you are taking in your smart charts and email them directly to me? How many of you would be prepared to do that? Okay, fantastic. Because I'm going to need some of you to do that just for a couple of months, because you may find that some of your trades may be featured in one of Greg's future YouTube videos. So we've got some very exciting plans ahead, and you're going to be part of this as well, which is awesome. And also, how many of you would like to hear something exciting? How many of you would like to know how to apply the strategy to gold and silver as well? I thought so, because every single person that is going to be part of my Lifestyle Trader Challenge, we're going to be overlaying these strategies onto gold and silver as well. And they work really, really well. By the way, let me know in the questions box, why is it important to know about gold and silver at a time like this? And if you do not know the answer, that's even more of a reason why you need to get involved, okay? Now, when I was given this presentation to practice over, I was told I'm going to add some slides to it, so I have done. So these are my 4 golden rules. Now, my first golden rule is that I always trade what I see, not what I think or what I feel. So I have processes that I follow, and that's what I stick to, okay? Rule number 2 is I never risk any more than 1 to 2% of the money that's in my trading account per trade. Reason why it keeps the emotions away, keeps the risk very low. I'm not going to lose any sleep if I'm risking 2% of the money that's in my trading account. Let me know how many of you are quite low risk people, okay? If you are, we're going to get on very well. I like to keep my money. Rule number 3 is I aim for a minimum of a 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio trade or higher. Same for a minimum of a 1-to-1 or higher. And rule number 4 is very simple, but very important. It is to follow rule number 1, okay? It's about continuing process. Just another day, market's going to move, announcements going to occur. We just stick to what works. Just like when you're running a business, you follow strategy, you reduce your risks as much as you can, and you repeat that process every single day. Same rules apply to trading too. Now, let's just recap on a few things we've gone through so far. Now, in terms of targets, how many pips per week did I mention that is a good amount to target to begin with? Yeah, 100 pips a week, good beginner's aim. When a client hits their first 100 pips, that's always a good milestone to experience. Okay. What do we call it if we're trading in a downwards direction? Trading short, conversely, we go long. So we can trade any market direction. Doesn't matter what happens out there in the economy. Our skill set is unaffected. Okay. Something we're going to get very used to over the next 12 months, especially. What time does a European session start? Yeah, 6 o'clock. Great time as all European countries are waking up. And also a slightly different question, but I thought I'd ask you. But what do you think is the most important internal characteristics that somebody needs to have inside them in order to being a good trader? What do you think is most important internal? Because does everyone has what it takes to be a trader? Let me read some of these out. So patience, discipline, confidence. Yeah, don't be emotional. Catherine. Yeah, discipline, persistence. Yeah, all those things are very important. But you know what? Even all those things is not enough on its own. Because if you think about it, a lot of people have those things already. In your careers, in your day-to-day lives, in the business that you run, you might already be very calm, patient, rational, resilient, confident. But that doesn't mean that tomorrow morning you are definitely going to be trading the pound against the Japanese yen at 6 o'clock. Because for you to trade the pound against the yen tomorrow morning, you've got to want to do it in the first place. For me to trade every single day, I've got to want to trade every single day. And there's only one thing that makes us want to do anything in life, and that's the drive we have inside us. It's the motivation that we have. And we see that motivation is by far the most important characteristic that a trader needs to have to be successful. And I've got to know that because having got to know a lot of traders over the last 14 years, I've got to say I've never met any trader yet that purely trades because we have a fascination with fluctuating exchange rates. Okay, it's not because of a bunch of red and green bars on the screen. It's because we have certain aspirations, certain aims, certain goals that we're working towards. So I'd like to focus you towards obviously why you want to trade as well as the how, because it's the why that's going to prepare you to hit your targets. Okay, so what I would like you to do, please, on the left-hand side of your notepads, can you please write down 3 things that you'd like to add to your life? So write down 3 things that you would like to add to your life. And next to each one, in brackets, can you also write down how much money you need to make in order to achieve that goal? Because that is going to come in very handy later on when we help you do your trading plans. So I'll give you a moment just to do that. Okay, so write down 3 things that you'd like to add to your life. Yeah, we're driven by different things. So think about what's important to you. And also, by the way, let me ask you a question. Have any of you found that your goals are different now than maybe a year or 2 ago? You know, have you found that, you know, because of the pandemic and what's happened around the world, have you found that you are now focusing on things that perhaps you weren't focusing on before? Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people have sort of used this opportunity as a new lease of life. For example, one thing that I've really seen a lot of is people have really enjoyed this newfound independence. Okay, for example, how many of you have enjoyed working from home? Yeah, I think so. I've seen that a lot as well. People that I speak to do not want to go back to the office. The idea of spending an hour and a half commuting in the morning just to do the same thing they're doing right now, to then travel all the way back home. Plus you have to pay for that travel as well. You know, it's just a waste of time. And that's 3 hours a day that people waste being stuck on the train or being in traffic. Give yourself more time. Spend more time with your family. Spend more time doing the things that you want to do. So a lot of people have realized, hang on, I quite like this doing things from home. What else can I do from home? Trading. Bang. There it is. Okay. And also, another thing that I've noticed people are focusing on a lot more seriously is their personal security and their personal financial stability. And here's a question I want to ask you. If you look at the economic impact of COVID, because we know that a lot of people have been affected financially because of COVID, but here's the question I'd like to ask you. Do you think people could have done a lot more to protect themselves financially? So if we look at what's happened in the world in the last couple of years, do you think people could have done a lot more to protect themselves financially? Please let me know what your thoughts are regarding that. Yes, I think so as well. Okay. And here's a controversial question. Whose responsibility is it to look after yourself? Is it the individual's responsibility, or is it the government's responsibility to keep the economy moving? I'm going to be controversial and say, I think it's the person's responsibility. No one else cares about you more than yourself. Does that make sense? And if you are in a financial difficult position, it means you, at some point in life, you haven't done enough. Does it make sense? And it actually becomes your fault. So if you are in a position where you are stuck, it means you haven't prepared. It means you haven't done enough. And it does become your fault and your responsibility. And by the way, let me know if you agree or disagree with me, because I won't be offended if you disagree. But I think you have to take things into your own hands and think about it. Parents would always say that when we're younger, have a backup plan, have a safety net. But as soon as people start making a bit of money, that sensibility goes out the window. As soon as the money comes in, people start thinking, right, how can I spend that money? And as soon as the money comes in, let's buy some nice things, or let's go on a holiday. And it makes them go broke as a result. How many people do you know spend their money trying to impress other people who don't actually care in the first place? Okay? As soon as a bit of money comes in, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and impress my friends by buying a newer car because I think I'm really cool. And actually, all it does is it makes themselves go backwards. And it causes them financial difficulty. How many people do you know that are constantly making poor financial decisions to try and impress other people other than themselves? Does it make sense? And by the way, it's not just in the UK. I see it in South Africa and the UK. People would rather look rich than actually be rich. Make sense? What you actually need to do is invest in yourself first. When you invest in yourself, rather than instant gratification, you're going to be much better off positioned financially. Because if you are in a financial situation that is tough, it means at some point in the timeline, you look back in history, there is some bad decisions that you've made that's caused you to be in that situation. And that's why you have to do things properly. Think about this. How many of you live near or in Sandton in Johannesburg? Okay. If you go to Sandton, you would think there's no recession. On one side, there's 34% unemployment in South Africa. But when you go to Sandton, there's people buying and driving brand new G-Wagons. What does that tell you? Okay. The money is made for people who actually want to make that thing happen. Okay. And that's where you need to invest in yourself first, because that's what pays off. And I really feel sorry for people that do not take action. Okay. Because it's going to get very bad for those people in 12 months' time. And it's a shame because they know it. They're actually watching the car that's about to run them over. And will they step out the way? No. They'll let it happen and they'll try and find someone else to blame. Okay. It's a real shame. And also, by the way, think about this. How many people do you know that have £1,000 iPhone in their pocket yet they probably don't even have $1,000 worth of Apple shares. I know which one's going to be worth more in 10 years' time. Do you know what I mean? Okay. And it's time for people to wake up and get educated. And also, I think it's a great time of year to set these goals, because what time of the year do most people normally set their goals? January. However, how long do most people's New Year's resolutions last for? January. And then people forget about them very quickly. Think about where we are in the year right now. I looked at the calendar this morning, and I don't know about you, but I feel this year is going past so quickly. Before you know it, we're going to see Christmas adverts. And most people have probably forgotten what the goals even were. Now, the reason why people forget their goals very quickly at the start of the year is because they haven't made any immediate progress towards them. And the reason why there's no immediate progress being made is because more often than not, they're still doing the same things they were doing in December. And that's why every year ends up being the same. If you look at this year, people are still making the same money they were making last year and the year before that. And the question I want to ask you is, are you still doing the same things that you were doing in December? Because if the answer is yes, this year and next year will be exactly the same, unless something changes, and that comes down to that action that you take today. Now, as well as what you want to put into your life, it's also important to think about what you don't want as well. So on the left, those are 3 things you want to add to your life. But on the right-hand side, please write down, what is it that you put up with that frustrates you, that you no longer want to tolerate anymore? And I guess that focuses more on the pain than it does the pleasure, because when in life do most people take action in the first place? When they're in pain, when their back is against the wall, when they hit rock bottom. Now, when is that time? Normally when someone loses their job, or they lose their business, or circumstances change within their families. There's a big divorce, or maybe someone passes away unexpectedly. Most people always take action at the very last moment. Now, is it ideal to wait until it's too late before you take action? No, but everyone does. I've always wondered, why do people do that? And then I found the answer. And the answer is because everyone is too comfortable. Everyone's within their own comfort zone. I don't know any of you individually yet, but I make the assumption that you guys are comfortable, and you'll probably be comfortable for the rest of your lives, because at the end of the day, you know how much money is coming in each month. You know how much money is going out. Most who work very hard and live within their means. You know you can wake up tomorrow and it'll be Thursday. Life will be perfectly okay for you, I'm sure. You know that in this time next year, life will be okay then as well. But if life's okay, there's no urgency or need to do anything else. So I realised that rather than waiting until it gets too late for me, it's much easier to bring the pain to me. Fast forward that process. The more I focus on what is painful in my life, the quicker I move away from it, rather than brush under the carpet and ignore it for 10 years. So for me, one very painful thought was, what if I turned 30 and I could not look after my parents financially? Because I thought by the time I turned 30, my parents would be in their 70s. There's only so much time they could do what they're doing. So for me, putting a timer against myself really worked. So focus on 3 things that are going to inspire you. Focus on 3 things that are going to create the urgency, and use that as your motivation to start your trading day. And I'm going to play you a video from some clients of mine who were in a very similar seat to the one that you are in right now. Have a little listen to them, because it is quite inspiring.
I've been a nuclear physicist for over 25 years.
I used to be very much in the film industry.
I was an engineer.
I got an invitation to a seminar and I attended it, and I was incredibly skeptical.
I needed to find something that I could, balance being a mum with.
I have to admit that until the day I was actually sitting in the class and we started the course, I was incredibly pessimistic. But within a couple of hours of sitting in and going through the materials and being coached through it, I knew this was exactly what I was looking for.
The tutors over there were amazing. They pretty much hold your hand through the beginning and sort of get you through the very basics of reading the charts.
On one hand, one of the most difficult things I've ever done, but on the other hand, it's one of the easiest things I've ever done.
It doesn't need any financial background, it doesn't need any financial knowledge.
I found everybody at the centre amazingly supportive.
And I was in the course, I was like, wow, every single person over here is just so
helpful.
They're very friendly and welcoming, but also there's a lot of guidance.
It's a step-by-step learning process that actually guides you.
It's about discipline, it's about training without emotion, it's about risk management, it's about getting the basics right first.
Discipline, patience, executing strategies perfectly, and commitment.
They've helped me a lot. They've made it easy for me to learn.
You don't feel judged at all. You know, they've made the same mistakes you have, and therefore they can help you on your way.
They know what they're talking about. They will make you succeed.
It's been a fantastic programme. It's been, for me, it's been life-changing. It's taught me a lot about the markets and also a lot about myself.
You can find things that suit your personality, and this will only really make sense to people when they attend the program.
Because you can be a different type of trader. You might want to be a day trader, might scout, might work all day and just need an overnight strategy.
So if you want to just do it once a day at the end of the day, it's like you can happily do that and make money.
There's a huge focus on risk management first and foremost, so they make it clear it's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
As well as the course, I think what's really helped move me on from that is the coaching.
The one-on-one coaching sessions are amazing.
The coaches demonstrate in front of you. They'll do actual trades.
It's so reassuring to know that somebody who's training you is actually trading his own money as well.
They're doing what they're teaching you to do.
I have to say that's the thing that's made the biggest difference to my trading.
It cements it in your mind.
It makes you feel that it's absolutely achievable.
It really gives you self-confidence.
When I see that they're making money, I know it works, and therefore when they're teaching me the strategies, I know that I can make it work.
If they can do it, you can do it. You just have to apply yourself.
My coach, he gives me these little things, these little tweaks that transform my trading.
They've been pushing me to backtest too. They've been giving me books to read.
I think without the coaching, it would be really difficult.
I actually quit my job in July and took this on full-time.
It opens up possibilities.
It's a fantastic way of living your life, having freedom.
Having multiple holidays a year.
You're not working for someone else, you're not doing what anyone else tells you.
I'd never go to a 9-to-5 job now. I absolutely love the fact that I don't have a boss.
I can set my own routine in the daytime and there's nobody reporting to me with problems all the time.
I feel like I've made an improvement in my life and that I'm going somewhere. This is the career that I definitely want to do.
Forex has given me the freedom to do what I love doing.
Spending time with your family, that was the #1 thing for me, never to miss any of my children's performances in school, their activities. I'm always there.
Being able to help your family, being able to help the charities that you're passionate about.
To travel more, I don't think I've ever traveled as much as I do now. And I can pay off a trip in an afternoon.
We love the freedom of being able to go off skiing for a week at short notice and having the Forex pay for it the following week.
A lot of my friends are caught in the 9-to-5. A lot of them are unhappy, and I think they die for this kind of freedom, really. Look at them, I feel a bit sorry for them.
I don't think it's something that it's possible to do on your own.
You can't teach yourself. You have to do a course, you have to get professional help.
Put the work and effort in.
It is something you've really got to commit to.
Have the discipline to apply the rules.
I don't think you'll fail.
It's just like joining a new work.
I feel that Learn to Trade is one of the best things that has happened to me in my life, to be honest.
Decided to resign from work and do it full time.
I don't work anymore. This is a passion for me.
3 hours a week, 15 minutes a day trading.
Just a couple of hours a day, and then I have all the rest of the day free.
I've really just had positive months every month, and I'm doing really, really well.
I've made a lot of profit.
I've managed to grow my account significantly.
We've got one strategy which it usually makes about 2% a week.
I would say on average I'm doing about 5% a month.
25% return.
My best month has been 15%.
Probably just under 10%, but I know that's just a starting point and I can achieve much higher than that.
90 pips out of one currency.
It was about a 100 pip move, and that's probably what I earned in like a week of working.
My best trading month so far is 12%.
It's made me about 15%.
8%.
6% a day, which is a lot. I'm quite happy to do 6% a month.
I earned $700 in one day.
It's making steady profits, so yeah, it's going well.
And gave me a nice 60 pip profit.
You're just growing your capital all the time because you know how to do it.
I made almost £800. So I did another trade with Spain and stocks 50.
Yes.
So altogether I made 4,500.
And you watch the money coming in as a result of what you're doing, so it's hugely rewarding.
My best month has been 14%, which has just been outstanding.
3.5% was my best trading week.
And I've done the 10% in probably not even 24 hours, so it was pretty good.
The rewards are frightening.
And I'm hitting 4%, which is quite good.
I walked out with about 1,100 quid.
And it's just gone up and up and up.
As to who can do it, well, I'm looking forward to my 16-year-old son learning to trade.
My father recommended this course to me. He said it was amazing, and I would recommend it to my friends and family as well.
I highly recommend this program to my friends and family. In fact, I've got 2 friends who are currently engaged in this program and making money also.
I've recommended this course to 3 of my friends, and they're making some big returns as well.
I would absolutely recommend this to everyone I know.
I would definitely recommend it to my family.
Definitely recommend this course to people.
I would highly recommend this course.
I highly recommend this program.
How many times is your salary multiplied by becoming an FX trader from where you were as a recruiter?
Well, it's multiplied by 5.
So you're making 5 times more money than you were making in regular employment.
And I was a millionaire by I was 40, and that was in the recruitment industry. So do the math.
Tell us what you were making in rebates back in December, and tell us what that number looks like now.
It was probably maybe 2,000 or 3,000 when I first started. Now it's between 15,000 and 25,000 a month.
Good money? How old are you?
25.
Not doing too bad, is she?
You came on the program in May last year, right? Yep. First time as a currency trader. Yep. You're now managing a fund of how much?
30 million. So,
how old are you?
27.
Oh, so. I love it. And how much did you get last month of trading that?
$438,000.
Dollars?
Yep. So,
life sucks, right?
Yeah, it's hard work. It's hard work.
Do you know what? Extremely inspiring, and they all have something that keeps them going, something that makes them wake up and start their day in the best way, because that's exactly what you want to be doing as well. Excuse me. Because you're going to be learning the same strategies: the T-wave, the volatility reversal, the 180 phase changer, the pip runner, and the Bollinger bounce. Now, these are 5 incredible strategies that I cannot wait for you to actually start using. Okay, they're all very different to each other. So the T-wave. You are going to love this if you are an early riser. So if you like the idea of trading first in the morning, you will love the T-wave, okay? You got the volatility reversal, which is a good one to use when the market's moving sideways. So sometimes markets trend up, other times they trend downwards, sometimes they go sideways. When that happens, this is a particular strategy that you want to use, okay? You got the phase changer, which is going to be very popular for those of you who are very busy. So if you don't have a lot of free time in the day, okay, there are certain, with this particular strategy, it takes about 10 minutes to set up a phase changer. So if you're very busy, basically use this one. Currency markets open 24 hours a day, so it doesn't matter what time of the day you're trading this one. Okay, so that's what I was trying to say about the phase changer. The pip runner is quite advanced. Okay, so for those of you who are looking for quite an advanced strategy to really master, okay, I think you will enjoy the pip runner, okay? And you've got the Bollinger bounce, which uses one of my favorite principles as a sort of bread and butter strategy. So you've got 5 different strategies. We are going to adopt a 5-3-1 process. So we are going to be explaining to you which 5 currency pairs you should be looking at, which 3 strategies, what time of the day to best suit you. We're going to organize that with you individually, okay? Here are some of our clients with Greg at an award ceremony we hosted. It's always good to recognize people's achievements. You may see your face up there in about 6 months' time. Here are some of our team. So as I mentioned, you are going to be coached by my senior team, okay? And that's what clients love the most, having that human interaction. Because whilst technology is great and internet's great, nothing beats that old school approach of actually having someone there hold your hand. Nothing absolutely beats that. Greg was recently featured in Forbes magazine and spoke about the importance of having the right people around you. So yeah, absolutely. You're gonna love that. So not only are you going to be learning professional strategies, you're going to be coached by professional traders, and you're also going to be using professional software. And I thought, what better way of actually showing you how Smart Charts works than to actually show it to you on this computer. So let me show you how it all works. Have a little watch of this. Okay, so this is Smart Charts. You are going to have this on your computer today, okay? At the moment, what you're seeing is a blank chart. You'll see at the top there, on the top left, can you see it says no strategy? So right now it says no strategies, no visual aids turned on. Although you will see these dotted red lines, okay? Now, this is important, by the way. Smart Charts is a professional trading system. That means it has live news and live pricing. None of this is delayed, okay? You may notice that on your charts, they might be delayed slightly. In fact, sometimes they're delayed by even 15 minutes, okay? Which is no good, okay? We want to deal with live information, okay? That's important, okay? Now, by the way, just to let you know, people pay like $400 to $500 to have access to live data, okay? It even goes up to $2,000 a month for a Bloomberg terminal. You would like to know Smart Charts is nothing remotely close to that, which is brilliant, okay? Now, to bring up the strategies, what you need to do is get your mouse to the top left corner where it says no strategy, click on it, and it brings up the dashboard, okay? So what you can now see are the different strategies across the top, and underneath them, you'll notice that some of them are glowing and some of them are not, okay? So you'll see, and by the way, you'll notice, for example, H4, D1, it shows you all the time frames that it's actually applying on, okay? Some of them are flashing, some of them not. What do you think it means, by the way, if it's glowing white? When it's flashing, what do you think that means? It means Smart Charts has found a pattern, okay? So when it's flashing, it means that a pattern of interest has been found and we should go and have a look at it, okay? Now, we go straight to the moment of interest, okay? Now, obviously, there's quite a few flashing currency pairs. You wouldn't place 25 flashing currency pairs, by the way. You'd pick the 2 or 3 best ones out of them. That's where the human element comes into it. Smart Charts does 90% of the work. We do the remaining 10%, okay? So out of the ones that are flashing, we're going to teach you how to cherry pick. Just when you were younger, well, certainly here in the UK, we went strawberry picking. So when we're younger, we want to pick the best strawberries out of the bunch, okay? Now, let's actually have a look at one that is flashing. Now, there's quite a few that are flashing. Which one should we go? Which one should we go for? In fact, you pick. Can I have a volunteer to pick out a currency pair that is flashing? And we'll go and have a look at it. Okay? I'll leave it to you. You guys, this is your webinar. You are the one that's going to be learning this. I want one of you to pick one out. Okay. Jacob. Okay. So Jacob, thank you. You were the first one to reply. So Jacob would like me to pick the Australian dollar against the Swiss franc on the 180 phase changer. Okay. So Jacob, thank you for being the first one to volunteer. So we're going to pick the, what did you say? Australian dollar, Swiss franc. So let's have a look. Where is that? Phase changer. Okay, there it is. Okay, cool. So Jacob, let's say this is you. So Jacob, you're at home. You got your laptop out. You've got a bottle of water. You're going to click on the one you're interested in. So let's click on the pound. Let's click on the Aussie against the Swiss franc. And let's have a look at what we have here. Okay. Good. Good one. Okay, right. So, Jacob has asked us to click on the Australian dollar against the Swiss franc, and we've done that. Immediately, what do you see on the screen? We have an opportunity to do what here? Have a look at the screen and tell me what we have an opportunity here to do. We have an opportunity to go short. Okay? We have an opportunity to go short. How do we know that? Well, you've got a downwards pointing arrow, firstly. So that's telling us to go short. You also notice out of the red and the green button, the red one is glowing. And also, if you look at the area of the graph at the bottom, can you see it's highlighted in red? So the area of the graph that we are targeting is being highlighted in red. Okay. By the way, how many of you are liking how this interface looks? It's really cool, isn't it? We actually had a psychologist that worked with us to help make this easy to use. When you've had a long day at work, the last thing you want to do is look at a trading platform that's very confusing, okay? This is awesome, okay? Now, this bit here, Jacob, if you did not really care as to the reasons why it's a good trade to take, go ahead and hit that sell button, go through a couple of steps, the rest is done for you, okay? But how many of you would actually like me to explain why I think it's a good trade to take? I'm happy to skip over the analysis if you want me to, but if you would like me to explain, please let me know if you would. Okay, so quite a few of you would like me to explain. Okay, it's quite an interesting trade, by the way, because there has been some interesting news that has come out recently. Now, by the way, you do not have to be an economist, and you do not have to be an expert in every country in the world. But we do. That's what me and my team are here for. But we do expect the Australian dollar to go down for a couple of reasons. Firstly, Australia have gone into lockdown. Okay, the Delta variant of COVID has gone absolutely ballistic in Australia. And there's one thing that Australia does not do is they do not mess around when it comes to COVID. Okay, they will lock everything down. Okay, so obviously Australia has gone into lockdown. That's affected a lot of industries. Their stats have been affected. Their employment figures have gone up as well. So there's quite a few things there that has kind of caused the sentiment of the economy within Australia to decrease slightly. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing that was affecting the Australian economy, by the way, was actually the trade relationship between Australia and China. So there's quite a bit of trade tension right now between Australia and China, especially regarding important exports like iron ore, coal. You know, there's quite a few issues happening there. You know, China's a bit of an economic bully when it comes to import export. So the Australian dollar has been taking quite a bit of a hammering there. And also, by the way, have a look at this. Can you see that dotted red line with a little circle at the bottom? If I click on that, can you see how it says in 1 day, 8 hours and 44 minutes time, the retail sales figures for Australia will be released. Okay? Now, basically, how well is the retail sector doing? So it's considered as an indicator of the pace of the Australian economy. It shows the performance of the retail sector over the short and mid-term. Positive economic growth anticipates bullish trends for the Australian dollar, while a low reading is seen as negative or bearish. Okay? How cool is that, by the way? You can actually learn about economics whilst you're using this platform. How amazing is that? Now, by the way, the retail sales figures is not looking too good. Last month, the retail sales figures dropped by almost 2%. And it's looking to drop by another 2.3%. That is not good. Okay? So there's some very bad news expected in about a day's time. And of course, what's going to happen when that news announcement comes out? The Australian dollar will drop again. Okay? Now, when the Australian dollar weakens, what happens to the Swiss franc? It goes up. Now, we expect the Swiss franc to go up anyway because actually the Swiss economy is actually doing okay. The IMF, okay, they've actually increased their positive outlook for the Swiss economy. Okay, the economy has recovered. If you look at the weekly activity index for Switzerland, it's kind of returned back to where it was pre-COVID levels. Okay, and also here's the thing: there's a lot of money going into Switzerland right now. Did you know, by the way, the Swiss franc is almost seen as a bit of a safe haven currency? Did you know that? Yes or no? If you didn't know that, you're learning something today. And here's something interesting. Which kind of individuals have money in Swiss private bank accounts? What kind of people in the world have private banks in Switzerland? The wealthy, government officials, the rich, the fortunate, anyone that has lots of money. So when there is economic uncertainty, Switzerland is seen as a safe haven. Now, obviously, if they want to transfer money into Switzerland, they've got to buy Swiss francs. When the wealthy buy lots of Swiss francs, the Swiss franc rises in value. Okay, is this starting to make sense? Okay, so there's quite a few fundamental factors there as to why the Australian dollar will weaken and the Swiss franc will go up. Does that kind of make sense so far? Yes or no? Okay, good. Okay. Earlier on, I also wrote about technical analysis. Now, that's where we look at the chart. Now, if you look at the chart, would you say we are in an uptrend or are we in a downtrend? Please let me know. Are we in an uptrend or are we in a downtrend? We are in a downwards trend. You can see that because if you look at if you open your eyes, you can see the chart is going down. You'll also notice this yellow and blue line. Okay, when the yellow line is above the blue line, it means the average price is rising. When the yellow line is below the blue line, it means the average price is falling. Now you tell me, is the yellow line above or below the blue line? It's below, okay? So not only visually are we in a downtrend, but mathematically we're in a downtrend as well. The average price is falling every single day, okay? And also the timing is spot on. Let me get my pen tool out for this. Now earlier on, I mentioned, okay, I mentioned that markets breathe. Markets breathe out, they breathe in. They breathe out, they breathe in. They breathe out, they breathe in, and so forth, okay? So that's in an uptrend, okay? So remember, we're getting at number 1, not number 2, okay? Now, the same thing is true in the downtrend. In the downtrend, we're breathing out, we're breathing in. We're breathing out, we're breathing in. We're breathing out, and so forth. That's obviously in the downtrend. Now have a look at this. You can see how we are in a downwards trend. So market's breathing out, then you can see it's breathed back in. You can see how the market breathed out, and then it breathed back in. You can see how the market breathed out, then it breathed back in. You can see how the market breathed out, the market's breathed back in. What do you think is going to happen next? The market is going to breathe. The market's going to breathe out. Okay, the market's going to breathe out. We're getting in at number 1, not number 2. Now, how many of you are starting to see this pattern emerge on the screen? How many of you are seeing this pattern? Yes, because remember, a chart is just a visual representation of human behavior. And because human behavior is predictable, the markets become predictable. And that's why the strategy works so well. So there's lots of reasons from lots of different angles as to why this is a good trade to do. Now, to do this trade, what you need to do, Jacob, is hit the... Let me just erase these drawings first, okay? So what you need to do is hit that sell button. Okay. We're going to hit that sell button and it opens up a deal ticket. Okay, so what we now have is our trading deal ticket. Okay, so we have an entry point. We have our stop loss in place. We have our target in place. Notice the levels have automatically been calculated. Okay, so we're targeting 63.6 pips in this trade. Not 65, not 60, not 50, it's 63.6. And it is that figure for a very particular reason, which you are going to learn about on the training itself, okay? I'm automatically risking 1%. That's what I've set it to. If you want to risk 2%, all you need to do is nudge it forward, and it does the lot sizing calculations, the trade sizing calculations, the pound per pip value, the dollar per pip. It does all that for you. But I risk 1%, so I'll do that. I've got my entry stop loss target. Expiry, okay? Right, let me do this. Now, when you do the training itself, by the way, there's quite a few things we need to explain to you about the strategy. But because I don't have hours and hours today to explain things, let me just set the expiry for this trade. Okay, so... Okay, so for the expiry for this particular trade needs to be 54. Okay, right. I will explain this to you later when you do the training. Okay, because this stuff is really important, by the way. So I've gone through the steps. Let me just check everything's okay. Yeah, I'm risking 1%. I've got my level set up. Okay, to do this trade, Jacob, go ahead and hit the green tick. Okay, and what we now have is our trade order is now active. Okay, at this point here, you can close your laptop, carry on with the rest of the day. Once the price gets triggered in, will automatically get triggered in and hits the target. It will close automatically without having to be there. You get a notification in your journal that says, Jacob, the 63.5 pips has been added to your trade balance. And that's how, within a few clicks, you can have a trade selected, all the parameters set up for you. Okay. Now, how many of you think, by the way, that you could do what I just showed you here? Yes or no? Yes, absolutely. And also, how many of you are starting to also understand the reasons why it's a good trade? Yeah, with why the Australian dollar's weakening, with why the Swiss franc's going up, with how we're not in an uptrend, but we're in a downtrend, and we're getting number one, not number two. All those things you will learn about in great detail. But the most important thing is, whether you have a passion for how the car engine works or not, you will know what to do anyway, which is really good to show you, okay? And also, by the way, let me know, how am I doing today in terms of my explanations, okay? In terms of how I'm breaking this stuff down, please let me know how I'm doing, because what I'm trying to do today is I'm trying to take something that's quite complex, and by the way, this is complex, but I'm trying to make it easy to understand, okay? That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make it easy for you to understand so you get what I'm talking about. Okay, and thank you so much, by the way, for the kind words. And by the way, just to give you confidence, okay, when you're going to become part of our family. Okay, we know what we're talking about. Hopefully, you are seeing that from the last couple of hours, just listening to me. It's quite clear to see that we know what we're doing. We have a fantastic way of explaining things as well. We are articulate and eloquent in how we translate this information, and you're seeing that now. But wait until you meet the rest of my team. By the way, it's not just me. Okay, I'm not just the only one that's absolutely fantastic here. But honestly, jokes aside, the rest of the team, awesome. Okay, I can't think of a more talented team of traders that I work with. Okay, Richard Branson always says, if you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room, okay? And I think my uncle said something a little bit less eloquent. He said, if you're sitting on a park bench with 8 bums, you're going to be bum number 9, okay? So I think he tried to say the same thing, but you get the drift. And it's just so fun to show you, because you guys can do this. Have a look at this, by the way. There's a downwards pointing arrow there. That was a trade. Have a look at that trade. That was on the 26th of July. That was only a few weeks ago. Okay, how many of you were trading the Australian dollar against the Swiss franc last month? No, none of you did? Well, guess what? You could have. Have a look at that. That was a beautiful winning trade there. So we got triggered in, and then bang, hit the target straight away. Nice little winning trade. Have a look at this winning trade. So that was there. That was the 15th of July. So how many of you were trading the Aussie Swiss franc on the 15th of July? Well, guess what? You could have. You could have done this trade here. You could have done this trade here. You could even done this trade here. Okay? You can do this. Okay? I absolutely promise you this. You can do this. And by the way, how many of you are quite excited about having smart charts on your computer? Okay, do you know what? It's so good to actually show you how that works. What I'm going to do now is walk you through the process of how to actually now get this set up. So let's go through that now. Before I do that, let me explain who I think should do this, okay? Now, I think 100% you should definitely do this if the things on the left apply to you, okay? So, no brainer, you should do this if you are someone that wants to become their own boss, okay? Maybe you already are your own boss, in which case, obviously, this is a no-brainer. You are someone who wants a new challenge in life. You like calculated analysis. You want to create your own work hours, spend more time with your family, work anywhere in the world, have no one to answer to, and also if you're looking to grow your skill set. Okay. Now, as well as who should do this, we also say who should not do it as well. And in my opinion, I don't think you should do this if you have a gambling mentality, because gamblers are not intelligent people. They do not follow rules and they do not follow processes, okay? Trading successfully is about following steps and treating it like a business. So as long as you treat it like a business, you guys will do amazingly well. So if the things on the left apply to you, then today start a very exciting journey, which is the South Africa Lifestyle Trader Challenge for 2021. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is walk you through the process of getting your journey set up today. Now, before I do that, I just want to make sure that you are ready with a notepad. Okay, so make sure you have a notepad there with a pen, because I'm going to ask you to write a few things down. Okay, can you also do me a favor? Please make sure your mobile phone is nearby. Okay, make sure your phone is nearby, because I know there's a lot of you in this webinar today, but only a lucky group of you are going to have access to smart charts. So a lucky group of you are going to get a phone call, and if you are chosen, okay, that means that you're going to have smart charts, okay? But you need to make sure your phone is next to you, okay, for you to be chosen. Another thing is this. Can you please ignore any of the prices that you see on the next few slides? Because what you are going to see is what we normally charge our clients. As I did mention, things are going to be very different today for what we're doing here as part of the special project. So please ignore any of the pricing that you see on the next few slides, okay? So let me know that you're ready. Okay, I'm going to show you how we're going to choose you, by the way. Just be patient. Okay, cool. Let's have some fun. So step one, please write this down, is get your smart charts ready. Okay, so from today, your computer will look the same as mine. So that smart trade scanner with all the flashing currency pairs, that's going to be a screen that you are going to get very used to seeing. Okay, it's going to scan through opportunities. If it's flashing, it means smart charts has found a pattern. It's going to save you hours and hours every single day, so you're not wasting time. Okay, so you've got the smart trade scanner. By the way, I thought I'd mention this. Can you see at the top there where it says $1,000 a month? That is the monthly subscription to have access to live pricing and live data fed to your smart charts. I mentioned how people pay. People pay like $400, $500 a month to have access to live data on their smart charts. Okay, this is like pennies. It's like $90 a month. Okay, $90 a month, which is absolutely fantastic. I wanted to make a big point of that because that's awesome to have access to live data. Okay, so you've got the smart trade scanner. You've also got the complete e-learning study center. So all of our education has also been cut down into bite-sized segments and made available in the learn section of smart charts. Okay, so everything that we've covered, all in smart charts, you can watch it back whenever you like. Now, how would I like you to use this? Personally, I would like you to use the learn section as a revision tool. Okay, because we are going to be doing the live training together, but after the live training, if you do want to recap, then go to the learn section, because I always prefer things live. I mentioned how I'm not the biggest fan of videos, but this is good for a revision. But after the live training, that's when I want you to use the learn section, okay? But also, you can, if you are a complete beginner, you can also help yourself out by watching the first 5 videos. So if you're a complete beginner when it comes to trading, watch the first 5. It just gets used to some of the terminology, which is cool, okay? So you've also got Greg, who's delivering the content here. And if you think I'm good at explaining stuff, Greg has got a fantastic way with his words. And we've got a really talented animations team that bring to life a lot of these economic concepts. So for you visual learners out there, you're really going to enjoy that a lot. So you've got the complete e-learning study center. You've also got all of the strategies already pre-configured built in to smart charts. So you do not need to be an ex-Google programmer to get your trading station set up the way it needs to. It's already been pre-configured with all the algorithms, all the settings, that it's already been set up. Now, I know some of you were asking me, can you please tell me all the settings that you use for those strategies? We're going to teach that to you as well, by the way. So we are going to be explaining to you how the strategies work. But just for your convenience, they have been preloaded so you don't mess anything up. Okay. So you've got the built-in strategies. You can also use smart charts on any platform. It doesn't matter what device you use. Okay. Whether it's an iPhone, whether it's a laptop, a Windows laptop, whether it's an iMac, or a Google Chromebook, or an Android tablet, okay? A lot of people I speak to these days, they don't even own a computer. They use an iPad and their mobile phone, or they just use them. I mean, some people's mobile phones are the size of laptops these days, okay? So it doesn't matter what device you're using. If you can access the internet on it, you can access smart charts on it, which is quite nice because when you're out and about, you can log on to smart charts on your phone and check what's happening. And it actually goes back to the chart that you were last looking at on your computer, for example. So you can use smart charts on any device you have. If you've got a mobile phone, iPad, laptop, computer, any device works when it comes to smart charts, which is very nice, okay? You've also got a whole host of advanced trader tools. Now, I know this will only apply to a group of you in this webinar who do come from an institutional background. So I know many of you do work in the city and you're used to using quite advanced tools. The great thing is you can actually customize your smart charts with your own templates, okay? So whatever you're normally used to using in the city, you can apply your own templates to smart charts, which is going to be great for you guys who that does apply to. Now, how many of you found it quite helpful when I was going through that trade example there, you know, with how the market was trending and the fundamentals and, you know, the weakening, number one, how many of you found that quite helpful? And I appreciate I only spent a couple of minutes explaining it, okay? Now, how many of you would find it quite helpful if every single day of the week you can actually tune in to one of my traders and have them explain what's happening in the markets every single day? How many of you would find that quite helpful? Okay, you probably see where I'm going with this, because every single day you can tune into one of my daily live web classes. Okay, so every single day we're going to be talking about the markets, explaining to you what the best opportunities are. So what's looking good, what's trending, what's not. So if you don't fancy doing things on your own, guess what? You don't need to. You can log into the web class. We do it every single day. We're going to be talking about the markets and you can be involved as well. So every single day there is support and guidance there to help you, so you do not ever have to feel like you're on your own, okay? And I think a lot of you guys are going to absolutely appreciate that, okay? And it's live, it's not recorded, it's live every single day. You guys are going to absolutely love that, I'm sure, okay? So that is step one, getting your smart chart set up. So you've got the Smart Trade Scanner, the complete e-learning study center, the 5 built-in strategies, the cross-platform support, the advanced tools, as well as the daily web classes. Now, once you got the software set up, step 2 is putting it into practice. So step 1 is getting a sports car. Step 2 is being shown how to take it around Silverstone by Lewis Hamilton. Because step 2 is what we call Learn Forex Live. Okay, now Learn Forex Live is a composition of live immersion training plus one-to-one coaching. Okay, this is where we're going to be really getting under the skin. So here's the great news. We are going to be spending 3 entire days trading together. Okay, we're going to be spending 3 days connected together, going through all the learning. Now you are going to see some visual shots of our training centers that we have around the world, okay? Now, here's the cool thing. For the purposes of what we're doing here, we are going to be doing our training over the internet, okay? So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we are going to be doing our training over the internet so you can actually join in from the comfort of your own home. We're going to spend 3 entire days together online going through this. We start at 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock on each of those 3 days. So that's UK time. So 9 o'clock in the morning UK time to 5 o'clock in the evening or afternoon UK time, we're going to be connected together. Now, how do we split the days up? Well, of the 3 days, in the first couple of days, we're going to go into all the detail, okay? Explain to you how it works. How does the phase changer work? The T wave, what are all the steps, all the instructions, all the ingredients. Not only do we teach you how the strategy works, we explain why it works. Why does that strategy work the way it does? Because we are going to go through a 6-step trader cycle with you. This is a professional approach of how professionals analyze the markets. So the guys at Goldman Sachs, the guys at the top hedge funds, they're looking at the same chart as you. But we're actually going to explain to you how we properly analyze that stuff. So you're going to be looking at trends, okay? Relative price, additional analysis, decision-making, examining, reviewing. So if you're one of those people that has always wanted to learn how to do this properly, well, now is your chance, because we're going to be doing that with you. So we're going to spend 2 days going through the mechanics. After day 2, that is then followed by day 3, which is called the live money making trading day. Day 3 is the money day. This is where we take the theory, we start putting it into practice and try and make as much money as we can, okay? We're hunting for trades. The first 9, 10, 11 trades that you take, you can be doing them there and then on day 3, getting the most of it, okay? That day 3, by the way, is a lot of fun, because not only are you learning something, but we're actually putting it into practice as well. And what a great way to get that journey kicked off. That first trade you take will be the most memorable trade that you will take for the rest of your life. It is so exciting because we're actually learning, but we're actually doing it as well, okay? Day 3 is so much fun. And we go through the process and get you doing it. Now, after day 3, you're then going to continue doing some trading in your own time. Now, I know in your first week, and it always happens, you will probably feel like doing 75,000 trades. But to begin with, just pick out one. See it through to the end. Wake up the next day, do another trade. Just go through the motions of adding it to your routine. I found early on that I prefer to trade in the morning. Firstly, because I'm an early riser, but also I like to know where I am by the end of the day. That feeling of satisfaction I get from having winning trades is what I enjoy the most, okay? You're going to have that feeling as well. Now, after your first week of trading, that's a great time to connect to your coach and do a coaching session. So as I mentioned, from today, you are going to be assigned one of my traders to be your one-to-one coach and mentor. So you can actually talk to them, have them help you, make the most out of the journey, answer any questions you have. We'll go do some more trades together. You'll then go trade for another couple of weeks, do another coaching session. Trade for another couple of weeks, do another coaching session, and you get the idea. Now, please let me know how you personally best benefit from having a coach, because some people like having the handheld nature that coaches provide, feeling confident, feeling reassured. Other people really enjoy how coaches push them. So it doesn't matter if your trading level is here or if your trading level is here, your coach is going to take you here. Okay, so they're going to stretch you so you don't return back to the same shape, and they're going to push you. Remember, your coach is not there to be your friend. They're there to make you money. Does that make sense? That is the difference that makes the difference. And it's through this step-by-step process that we get you set up with the tools. We start trading with you, and then we coach you and guide you as well. Okay. Now, as you can see, we normally charge around about 200,000 Rand for the entire program. Okay. So I mentioned earlier on, a normal client of ours is normally a wealthy client that has plenty of money to put into a trading account and to throw out their education. Okay. Putting, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million Rand into a trading account is not really too much of a problem for them. And, 200,000 Rand on training, again, it's a drop in the ocean for most of our clients that do our training. Okay. However, I did mention that we are going to be doing things completely different today, because I am going to be lowering that barrier of entry so you can start doing this immediately. Okay. Now, before I explain to you what I'm going to do to make this very, very affordable, okay, there are some very special dates that I would like to write down. Okay. Now, these are the dates that you're going to be doing the training with myself and my team. So what I would like to please do is take a look at these dates, pick one of them, and then immediately in the questions box, can you please type in which date suits your diary the best? Now, I did mention that you can start straight away, because as you can see from the first date coming up, you can be rocking and rolling immediately. You'll be getting stuck straight into this, okay? Very, very exciting. If you can't do the first option, there is a second option there, followed by a third option. So can you please take a moment now to type in into the questions box which one of those dates suits your diary the best? Okay. If you cannot do those dates, can you also please let my team know in the questions box? So if you cannot do those dates, please make yourself aware, or please make yourself known, was the word I was looking for. so my team can assist you, because Greg and myself have given the team instruction to give you priority. Okay, so please just let us know which dates you can do, and we'll work this out for you. Okay, fantastic. Now, I did mention that, of course, I'm going to make this very accessible for you. Okay. However, before I explain to you what we're going to do with that, there are some requirements involved, because above anything else, I want to make sure I'm getting the right people involved. Okay. So there are some requirements that you do need to stick to be part of the Lifestyle Trader Challenge. Okay. The first requirement is this: before you do our training on the dates you've just selected, please make sure, please make sure you have a trading account set up with some money in there ready to start trading. Okay, so before you attend those dates, please make sure you have a trading account open with some money in there ready to start trading. And the reason why is because I want everyone to put it into practice and start making money straight away. I don't want anyone feeling left out because they've not placed a trade whilst everyone else has. I want everyone to enjoy that whole experience. Okay, doesn't matter how much you start off with, whether it's $500 or $500,000. Okay, that's completely up to you. Okay, so a bit of money to trade with. The second requirement is that we'd really appreciate if you could take part in one of our charity trading days over the next year. We do flying trader events, trade-a-thons. We'd love you to use this skill you're learning to help raise some money for some causes that we are really passionate about. We really appreciate that. In return, you get to spend more time with the team. And the third requirement is that you're also willing to share your progress with us. So we want to document your success just for the next 6 months. We want to know how many pips you're collecting, how much percentage growth you're seeing on your account, and also a few words to describe your experiences, because with the information we collect from you, we are intending to use that for our own marketing purposes. Okay. If you don't wish for your name to be used anywhere, all we need are your initials. So as long as you can stick to those 3 requirements, you can take part in our Lifestyle Trader Challenge today. Okay. Now, I did mention that I'm going to make this very easy for you. And here is the good news. Please pay attention. None of you are going to have to pay anywhere near the 200,000 Rand we charge our clients. And the reason why is because, firstly, I'm going to give you Learn Forex Live completely free of charge. That's right. I'm not going to charge you a single penny for any of the training or any of the coaching. So I'm going to give you Learn Forex Live completely free of charge. And guess what? I am going to help you out with smart charts as well. Okay. Now, please tell me, how many of you would be quite happy if I halved the cost of smart charts? You'd be happy with that? Okay. How many of you would be happy if I reduced it even more? Well, guess what? You're not going to have to pay that either. I am only going to charge you 15K. And that's for everything. The training, the smart charts, the mentoring, the coaching, that is it. Okay? So what we normally charge 200,000 Rand for, not going to ask for that. All going to ask for 15K. That covers our basic costs and it gets you in. Okay? Now, I do see that there are 184 of you in this webinar. Now, here's the thing. I am not going to take all 184 of you on. Only the first 52 people that put their phone number, including their country code, into the questions box gets this discount. Okay? The first 52 people that type their country code and phone number in the questions box is going to be able to join our Lifestyle Trader Challenge and be part of this group. Okay? So just to be very clear, I'm not going to take everyone on. Only the first 52 people that put their phone number in the questions box is going to be able to take advantage of the biggest discount that we've ever done. And the reason why is because I want your testimonials. I want you to tell me how well you're doing, and I'm willing to pay for that. Okay, and that is why we're reducing the cost. Okay, so just be very clear, you will not pay 200,000 Rand, you will pay only 15k plus the monthly cost of $1,000 a month to cover the cost of smart charts. Okay, and that covers absolutely everything. Now, by the way, if you do not put your phone number, you have to pay the normal price tomorrow. Okay, it is first come, first served. Once this place are gone, they are gone. Okay, I can see a lot of numbers flooding through into the questions box already. By the way, it doesn't matter if you're outside of South Africa, if you're in India, if you're in Timbuktu, put your phone number in the questions box and get involved. This is cheap as chips. This is affordable, okay? You can hardly buy anything with 15,000 Rand these days, okay? And this is going to be an amazing opportunity for you. It is first come, first served. Once the place are gone, they're gone. What you need to do now, by the way, is please make sure your phone is next to you, okay? Please make sure your mobile phone is right next to you, because in the next few minutes, you are going to receive a call from my team and they're going to help you get set up. Okay, they're going to go through the process and help you get set up. If you do not receive a call straight away, please be patient. It just means you're next in the queue. So if you have to wait 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, just for the next, what I would say is for the next hour and a half to 2 hours, just please make sure your mobile phone is next to you, because you will be called and my team will set you up. By the way, if you miss that call, they're going to go on to the next person and the next person is going to steal your go. Okay, so please make sure your phone is next to you. Don't go speaking to your auntie for the next 2 hours because you're going to miss the call. Make sure your phone line is clear. My team will get you set up and let's have some fun. Okay, so we're going to set you up beautifully. Now, if you are having trouble using the questions feature of this webinar software, you can also text your phone number to the number that you can see on the screen. Remember, that's +44 because that is a UK number. So if you're having trouble using the questions feature on the smart chart software, text your phone number to the number you see on the screen there, because what's going to happen next to you, fantastic people, is you're going to get set up. My team are going to be calling you, getting your smart chart set up. So your computer from today looks the same as mine, okay? They're going to go through the setup process with you so you can start looking at what I'm looking at. They're going to help you get access to the learning modules. They're going to set you up for those 3 days of training that you're not just going to be doing with my team, but with me as well. So I'm going to be there with you on those 3 days, helping you get the best start to your journey. Guys, congratulations. Well done. I'm so excited for you because I don't think you could have chosen a better time in history to start trading. Traders wait for times like this to happen every 10 years. Okay, we had it in the dot-com crash. We had it in the credit crunch. Guess what? That time is happening now. And if you miss it, you will miss out. Don't just sit there on the fence. Don't be one of those people that says, oh, do you know what? I'm always unlucky. I'm always the one that misses out. You know, you have to be in the right place at the right time. Well, guess what? That time is now. And the question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there doing nothing, hoping that that 34% unemployment rate drops and all of a sudden the government is going to give you a massive opportunity that's going to solve all your goals in life? We know that's not how life works, okay? Life works based on what you put into this. What you put into yourself is what you get out of it. So if you're sit there hoping and wishing that some miracle happens, it ain't going to happen, okay? You have to take action and you have to find a way to do this, okay? If you do not have 15K, find it. Ring a friend, ring a family member. If there is someone that cares about you, that would genuinely lend you that money so you can better yourself financially, okay? People in South Africa spend that on a pair of jeans these days, okay? Yet they haven't got anything to put in them, okay? What are you going to do? This comes down to you and the action that you take. Don't sit on the sidelines. Remember, there's people out there doing this, okay? It doesn't mean that you can't. Okay, get involved and don't have that feeling of missing out, because what a wonderful time we're in right now. It's an amazing world. If last year was a bad year for you, don't worry. 2021 is a brand new year. It's all down to what you make of it. Remember, for every dark cloud, there is a silver lining. Every single time you read a headline that's negative, remember, that creates opportunities for traders. Next time you hear about your government messing something up and there's trade tensions and there's unemployment has gone up and there's, you know, recessions, remember, that is Christmas for a trader. how you approach this and how you look at the world going forward will be completely different after today. So thank you so much. I cannot wait to speak to all of you individually. If you are having any questions about money, about payments, put your phone number in the questions box so my team can speak to you. Remember, there's no problem where a solution cannot be found. It's all about giving yourself a go. And honestly, if you are sat there on the fence thinking, should I do this or not? The question I want to ask you is, what else are you going to do? What other lovely opportunities are there that you are going to get your teeth stuck into for the next 12 to 18 months? Because please tell me what that is, because I'd love to do that, okay? Realistically, you know this is what you need to do, so get involved. Thank you so much. I am going to look forward to, my team are going to give me a list of people who are joining. I'm going to be speaking to many of you guys in the future. Thank you so much. Let's make this next 12 months the most amazing 12 months ever. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best. I'll speak to you individually. Thank you and God bless.